Hello everybody. Today we'll discuss physiology of vestibular apparatus. Let's start with a brief history how a patient will present. First case, 75-year-old man came with vertigo, giddiness on standing. A 45-year-old male MBA came with severe vertigo on turning head on one side, vomiting, irritability, ringing in ear. 25-year-old young lady came with headache, giddiness during traveling. So these are the common presentations of a patient with problem with vestibular apparatus. As you can see, a person MBA means he must be have a lot of traveling, more traveling due to his job. Old man, on standing he get vertigo because of again problem with vestibular apparatus. So let's try to find now our ear, which is basically, we know it is for detecting the sound, that is hearing, but they also help us in maintaining the balance. So ear has got two functions. One is to hear, that is sound. Second is to maintain the balance. The external ear, the middle ear and the cochlea of inner ear are involved in the hearing, while the semicircular canals, the utricle and saccule of inner ear are involved in the equilibrium and balance. So let's see more regarding inner ear. So the inner ear, also called as the labyrinth, is made up of two parts, one within the other. The bony labyrinth is filled with a fluid called perilymph that has a relatively low concentration of potassium, just like our ECF. The other one, the membranous labyrinth, is surrounded by perilymph and is filled with solution which is rich in potassium. This is called as endolymph. So like this, perilymph and endolymph, these are the two fluid present in the ear which are important for generation of action potential in the ear for hearing as well as for the balance. Now for the equilibrium, as I mentioned, the organ is basically in the inner ear, vestibular apparatus. Now let's see. This is the auricle or pinna. This is our external acoustic meatus. These are the small bones present in middle ear, that is stapes, incus and malleus. This is external acoustic canal, tympanic membrane. So these are the parts of external ear. They are involved basically in the sense of hearing. Now this semicircular canal, and this is the cochlea which is for the hearing. This is the inner ear. Now this is the common nerve that is called as the vestibulocochlear nerve. It is carrying the sensations from the vestibular apparatus as well as from the cochlea. To separate, they combine to form this vestibulocochlear nerve. So this is a very important nerve. Damage to this nerve can lead to problem in the hearing as well as the balance. Now let's have a closer look at the vestibular apparatus. It has got these three unique structure arranged in three different planes. These are called as semicircular canals. They are positioned as anterior, posterior and lateral. So three planes are there on one side. So similarly same on the left side. So like this we are having 6 planes of semicircular canal which are detecting our head's rotation in different angles. So 6 angles are there, plus this ending of semicircular canal is called as the ampulla, which is a dilatation here. They are attached to two other structures called as utricle and saccule. So these 5 structures, semicircular canal, anterior, posterior and lateral, and utricle and saccule, these are involved in the regulation of equilibrium. This is the cochlea for the hearing. So now see the position of this vestibular apparatus at our head. So here it is located in the ear. So these are the semicircular canal, anterior, posterior and lateral. This is the ampulla, vestibular nerve. This is the vestibular ganglia, cochlea, cochlear nerve, and these are utricle and sacral. So this is the position like this. Okay, now let's have a closer look to this one. So this is our semicircular canal. So in this dilatation, the ampulla is there. Here we are having a fluid called as endolymph, as I mentioned, which is rich in the potassium. So in all three, this ampulla, this sense organ is there. So have a closer look to this one, ampulla. This structure is called as a cupula, and here basically they are the main receptors which are involved. So in the ear, basic receptor are the hair cells. These are called as the hair cell. For hearing as well as the equilibrium balance, hair cells are there. So having a close look, so these are the hair cells embedded in this cupula. And here you can see in the utricle and sacral, this is the structure called as otolith organ. So this is present in the sacral as well as in the utricle. So again we are having same hair cells are here also. So basically hair cell is the main receptor for the balance and equilibrium, as well as in the cochlea same hair cells are there. We will have a close look to this structure. So these are the hair cells which you are seeing. Hair cells are there. Now on this, more important, these are the cilia which are present. Now these are the main one which are involved in the generation of action potential. So we will have again close look to this now. So in this diagram you can have a close. These are our hair cells. From here our nerves are arising. Okay. Now this is called the cilia. So we will have a close look to this one. So this big cilia is called as the kinocilium, and remaining all small, these all remaining small, these are called as stercocilia. So this big is the kinocilium, remaining are stercocilia. So only one big is there. Like this in this structure you can see this big I've shown here. It's called as Casey kinocilium, remaining are stercocilium. So this now important thing is that under the resting condition, potassium ions are going inside constantly. This is the resting state. Okay. Now whenever there is a movement of the cilia, either here or here, water movement is taking place. So what happens? See, because of the movement, what is happening? If movement is towards kinocilium like this channel gets open, and there is entry of potassium ions inside. This is called as depolarization. So whenever there is a movement of cilia towards kinocilium like this, so there is opening of these channels and potassium goes inside. This is called as a depolarization. On the contrary, if movement is away from this kinocilium, what happens? Channel gets closed and there is no entry of potassium inside. That is called as hyperpolarization. Okay, so like this, under resting state, some ions are leaked inside, but when there is a movement of the cilia, if it is towards kinocilium, there is increased entry, that is depolarization, and if there is no entry of positive ion inside, so that will be hyperpolarization takes place. So this is the most basic of stimulation of the hair cells through kinocilium. Now in this diagram you can see this is the single hair cell I have shown with this nerve here. So this nerve will generate action potential only when there is some movement at this. So you can see at the resting state, see there is some impulse are passing constantly. As I mentioned, there is small leakage of ions inside. This is the resting state. Now whenever there is a movement towards kinocilium, like this movement, you can see here there is depolarization, and here you can see number of impulses have increased. So there is an increased frequency of impulse excitation. In this you can see if they are again back to normal, again impulse stops, and if movement is away from kinocilium like this, so there is hyperpolarization. You can see number of impulses here. So decreased impulse frequency. Again back to normal. So like this, because of this movement of either here or here, there is stimulation and inhibition, and from here once they get stimulated, impulse will go to the nerve. So this is the most basic mechanism of stimulation of hair cells. Now let's see actually how it is happening. This is our ampulla in semicircular canals. Okay. So this man is there which is moving his head. Once he is turning his head like this, turning backside or turning one side, what will happen? This will be, movement will be like this. So endo lymph moves and it displaces this ampulla. So what will happen now? This will get displaced like this. So fluid moves. So because of this, you can see there is a movement of stercocilia towards kinocilium. Or if person's head is like this is the position of our otolith organs, which are in utricle and saccule. Person turns head forward, they will move like this. So there is movement of hair cells. So in this way, by movement of head in different direction, front, back, turning on other side, because of this there is movement of hair cells, movement of cilia, and if it is toward the stercocilia, there is a stimulation. If movement is away from stercocilia, there is an inhibition, and from here impulse will start to the nerve. Now let's see what happens after this. Again coming back to our spinal cord, ultimately balance means muscle contraction and relaxation. When a person is displayed forward, a person is standing like this, he is pushed like this forward, so back muscle will show contraction, front muscle will show relaxation. So like this, whenever a person is moving in any direction, some muscles will contract, others will relax. So ultimately everything is ending on our alpha motor neuron or gamma motor neuron, which are under control from descending tracts, which are stimulating. So gamma motor neuron stimulation ultimately again leads to alpha motor neuron stimulation for the muscle contraction. This is the basic we have learned. Again, if there is direct stimulation of alpha motor neuron, muscle will show a contraction. So this is the final common pathway. So ultimately now see, in this diagram I am showing, these are the different groups of muscles. Head muscles at the head region. These are the neck muscles and body muscles. So overall I am showing a representation of whole body in three group of muscles. All of them are having alpha motor neuron and sensory nerve which is supplying. This is the descending tract ending on this from different nuclei present in the brain stem. So now this nuclei is called as a vestibular nuclei located in the brain stem. These are our two vestibular apparatus. These are two vestibular apparatus. This is our cerebellum. Now, this is the vestibular nerve which is coming from vestibular apparatus and making connection with the vestibular nuclei here. Now they are having connection with our vestibular cerebellum, which we have studied in the physiology of cerebellum. Now again from cerebellum, nerves are going to vestibular nuclei, as we have seen in the physiology of vestibular cerebellum. Now here the tract which is arising is called as a vestibular spinal tract, which is ultimately ending either on alpha motor neuron or gamma motor neuron or interneurons. Now in this how, whenever there is a stimulation at our vestibular apparatus, impulse will go from vestibular nerve to this vestibular nuclear. From here it will go for the opinion to the cerebellum, which will give back the opinion again to vestibular nuclear, and from here impulse will come down and it will influence our muscle tone. So now let's see how it is happening. So here I have shown, now you can see there is a movement. Because of the movement now, there is generation of action potential at the vestibular nerve. Now this movement has displaced the stercocilium of the hair cell either towards and in here opposed to, and that's why I have shown here red and other one. So one will get stimulated, other will get inhibited. As if I am moving on right side will get stimulated, left side will be inhibited, because the movement will be opposite in either one. Now this impulse will go to the vestibular nucleus. From here it will come down after getting opinion from cerebellum to vestibular spinal tract, coming down the spinal cord, and this will influence our action. So one will stimulate, other will get inhibited. So like this there is a balance. So this is called as the balance. So one side will get stimulated, other will get inhibited. So in this how there is a regulation of muscle tone for the balance. So now this mechanical receptors in the semicircular canal, they detect as it is circular the rotational or angular movement of head. So they are responsible for rotational equilibrium. Suppose we are moving, we are in the giant wheel. So there we are having an angular motion. So while mechanical receptor in the utricle and saccule, they detect movement of head in vertical or horizontal plane, that is gravitational equilibrium. So like this we are having 3 planes for semicircular canal, 3 on either side, that is 6, and then 4 for horizontal and vertical, that is utricle and saccule, 2 utricle and 2 saccule on either side. So like this in different planes, whenever we are doing a movement of head in different direction, they will try to maintain the body balance with compared to the head. So that is called as maintenance of equilibrium. So this will be learning in detail again in the next lecture of balance and equilibrium. So here we have completed physiology of vestibular apparatus. We have seen that this is located in the inner ear. It is having 3 semicircular canal, utricle and saccule. The fluid present in the labyrinth, in the bony labyrinth, that is a perilymph, which is poor in potassium, and present in labyrinth, that is endolymph, that is rich in the membranous labyrinth, that is rich in the potassium. And the basic receptor for the vestibular apparatus is our hair cells, which consist of kinocilium and stercocilium. Their movement leads to stimulation or inhibition of hair cells, and impulse will start from the vestibular nerve, it will go to the vestibular nucleus. Okay, so here we complete physiology of vestibular apparatus. Thank you.